That's so exciting. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting. What do you think? I'm trying to go in here. He's like, whoa! He's like, I'm so excited to see the dog. I'm so excited. He is like, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure.
5 months.
I'm not sure. He didn't want any treats back there, like he didn't want cheese back there. So when we find that they don't want food right away, it's okay because it's a little stress, right? So part of what we do is when he's barking, who's looking at him? Right off the bat, we say, don't look at him, right? So if he's barking and he gets stuff, right? Sucker. Dogs know who the suckers are. Yeah, that's better. And I just think because he was back there, he was just like, I don't know what's going on back here. And then he went up front and saw the dogs and was super excited. So, but what we want to start working with is I'm just going to give him a second. So you're going to do the same thing wherever you go. Part of your homework, and by the way, too, his collar is loose enough for him to slip out of. Just. Okay. Well, I remember he's like, if he's cold enough to loosen it, sometimes that happens. Babe. Whoa. I have to cook you up for a second if I don't want food. Do you have some of your treats? Can I try some of yours? Did he have dinner or anything?
We have half of this tonight, yeah.
Oh. Perfect. That's all you got. What are those? What are you doing? So in part of it, we never know when the dogs come in if they're going to want anything. He's very interesting. And so it might mean that you actually have to not feed him anything so that he's super hungry. And you just start working him for his food, like in the morning and the afternoon, instead of feeding directly from the dish. Right? Is this something he will do at home? Okay. So his anxiety is already really high for a young puppy. Okay? I'm not going to say worry about it or anything, but can you come step over here? Because he has basically an anxiety issue right now. So I'm going to have you step over here, and I'm going to actually have you try to give him some of those treats. Okay, there you go. I think I'll take one from you. You see how he doesn't want it, right? Okay. And I don't, like, this is just something, too, that, we just want to know right away. And how do we work the Labrador through it is usually through some food and toys and things. Does he have a favorite toy in there, too, actually?
I think they had him in the cage one time.
Oh, okay. I didn't bring that up. Okay. And I'm sure he probably doesn't mess around with that so much either, but we'll just give it a shot. Do you have anything else in the bag food-wise, or no?
It's food.
Okay. I'll bring it up there. Oh, is that?
There's these two.
Okay. There you go. So, mom's around now. See the difference? So, like I said, I'm not worried about it, but that's something for you to know, is that his anxiety means that he doesn't want to eat for sure, and that he really likes you.
Yeah, he does.
Darn. Perfect. And so I'm actually going to do something a little different tonight. We're going to have you take the leash for a second, and you get to work your own dog.
Now I'm really on the spot, right?
That's okay. That's all right. So I'm going to have you stand up for a minute, and let's just see what he does. If in the very beginning, very good, and you can even do the tree potential if he does work for me, it's totally fine, you're just the background, okay? If he jumps, did he get paid? No, but I have a food in my hand, right, as a lure. So what I want to start working with him is having the very first step, which is eye contact. And puppies have a very short attention span. As soon as I move the food, where does his eye contact go? Elsewhere. So what do I want to teach him? I want to teach him to look at me and not the food. So all I'm waiting for is I'm going to just wait for it too. This is what you have to do at home. Is I actually wait for him to just offer looking at me and going, can I have it? And he goes, can I have it? I'm going to say, why, yes. Because I'm going to say, how often have you used yes in your program so far with him? Never. Right?
Yeah, that's
Brand
a
new.
word that's in our vocabulary right now.
Is it the other word? Right? So everything that he does wrong, I'm looking away from, I'm redirecting my body away from, and when he does it right, I can actually, I'm going to have you not let him go on, I'm going to have you do half a leash. I've been playing that, but we're going to do half a leash, just to prevent some of the 6 feet area. But everything he does right, yes. I'm gonna start yesing and petting. If I start to get longer eye contact, so right now I don't want him to do what's called the hit and run where he just near. I want him to kind of settle in my eyes. If he does that, then I can actually use his name. And Woody for short, or is it Woodward?
We use Woody. Yeah.
Okay. So if I have food and I pull the food away and he looks me in the eye, and that becomes Woody, yes, and a paycheck. I want him thinking eye contact is my name, is yes, and I get paid. I don't want to call him first and have it maybe my name. I want him thinking, because I'm sure you started with his name already, but I really want him thinking that if I say your name, you're already looking at me. Yes! And you see that lovely head tilt that Labs had? So all in essence that we're adding is we're just making sure he's clear about his expectation that eye contact is his name. Woody, yes! And then that is why he gets yes and pay. So the food doesn't have to be right in my hand, right? It's in my bait bag, it's around, it could be on a ledge. But then I start to go, what if I move here? If I take one step forward, sometimes the dogs will repeat jumping up, or try to bark, or try to do something else. All I want him to start doing is offering good behavior. Woody, yes! And then do you see how simple it starts to become, right? And I want you now to actually do that just 2 or 3 times. So I'm going to give you a couple of snacks. You can wash your hands at the end, I promise. There's some cheese, right? You become a dog trainer now, you're going to have messy hands. Show him the food and then just pull it away. And then just wait. And if he looks you in the eye, then you say his name, but don't move your hand. Did anybody catch what happened?
And he looked and then he looked away and I called him.
Yep, that's okay. No, just catch yourself. Nobody's going to criticize her because you're all going to make the same mistake. I did too when I started, okay? But we show him the food again, pull the food away. I basically am saying, I have a paycheck, are you going to work for it? And then when he looks at you, then say his name, but don't move your hand until after you say yes. And you're just patient. Just wait. And if he kind of breaks again, show him the food, pull it away, and wait for him to look up. Perfect. And I'm trying to get the dog, and the humans basically, to slow down your process. How many of you, as soon as they look at you, you want to whip out your hand? You're going to want to do that. But what happens as soon as you bring your hand out? Where does the eye contact go? To your hand. So I want you to slow down the process and saying, if you look at me, that's your name, that's yes. Then my hand moves. There's a consequence. If you do it right, the consequence is awesome. If you do it wrong, there is no consequence. Nothing bad happens, but nothing good happens either. If you see it, we just show it to you. There you go, pull it away. This is the where it starts. Because this is the very basic first step of impulse control. If you don't have attention, how can you truly teach them sit down, stand, stay, leave it, get it? You can't. They're not paying attention. You're bribing them, right? So we're kind of starting, and that's okay. Like luring is totally fine, right? But I want you starting with eye contact. So it also becomes, and I really know if you hand me the leash, I'm gonna see if you'll work with me just like a step away from you. So here's my food, and do you walk him on your left or your right hand side?
I'm trying to do left, but
He's not quite there yet. That's okay. So part of the important step for me is also teaching eye contact. You see how he wants to front? Dogs do what works. He gets paid in the front, so he's going to go in front of you. Instead, I'll see if I can't get him. He's like, whoa, mind blown. What is going on? I'd say, that's a tricky side, Julie. Woody, yes! Because if he's on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, and I'm just using my treat, right? Where does he normally get paid? Like, what? She's broken. And I see it work because I think you were telling him gentle before. Right, because he takes treats a little rough. We're going to cover that in just a second on how to truly teach him gentle. Because he's got those puppy teeth, right? And if any of your dogs take anything rough. So all I'm looking for is kind of on my left, not in front. What happens when he's wrong?
Nothing.
No, nothing bad, but nothing good. So this time I might make it a little easier. And I might keep my hand here. but have him just choose, hopefully my eyes. Woody, yes! And have him choose my eyes, but have the treat there so it's not in front. So I can start changing how he sees getting paid. I encourage everybody for homework number 1 to go home and teach eye contact equals their name, equals yes, equals pay. You're teaching the yes game, but you're also teaching eye contact equals your name. So you're kind of pairing them, right? Because if we have attention, now we can start teaching anything else. Wait, yes. I got it. Yeah.
I have 2.
Nope, one's allowed.
So one, I have one that has the behavior issues that I want to change.
Okay.
The other one eventually there, but he's not a problem at this point.
Sure.
When we're training problem dog, we need to have the other dog in another area.
Excellent question. I train individually, so yes. Generally speaking, if you have multiple dogs, I will put one dog up for that 3 to 5 minutes, like with a stuffed Kong and stuffed bone. I don't make it a punishment. I'm like, you want your brother to train because you get this. And you want your sister to train because you get this. And then in 3 to 5 minutes, I swap them out. Like, okay, well now you get the bone and you come out to train. Because then it's not punishment for being away. It's like, you're going to go train, I get freebies. I like this. And then you occupy them so that they're not worried. So yeah, in the beginning, I do train separately. So any dogs that are multi-dog households, they will be trained separately. And then as I truly know, like, hey, I go sit and the butt's slamming into the ground for both dogs, then I might bring them out in group train.
I just see having a treat in hand.
And they're both going to be there.
They're going to both
Yep.
be.
And eventually, you'll see in some of my, I have a picture actually, I have 7 in that picture recently. I think I have 7 dogs in full out sits with me just individually handing them treats, with they learn that eye contact, this is me. This is me. This is me. So if I don't look at that dog, they're like, well, it's not for me. Because I teach eye contact first. So once they know their name, then I know if I go, hey, if I go, Woody, yes, then he knows he's getting the treat. But then if you had another dog, if I had Harper out here, I'd go, Harper, yes, and then she would get a treat. But if he would go over to her, I would just block him and be like, didn't look at you, didn't talk to you, it's not for you. You're actually going to have to wait for your cookie. But if they truly know their name and you start to work some of the basic impulse control, beautiful, right? No jumping. Yes, it's paid. So that the adults can have a conversation. And the puppies aren't demanding. But then they actually learn that their name means I got that, or I didn't get that, I gotta wait longer, or I gotta do something else. It's just that attention. So if I get the eye contact, that's homework number 1, right? First homework assignment, go home, teach them how to look at you from the front, the left, and the right. That's 3 to 5 minutes in every room of the house that they're allowed for the first time. Then the second time, maybe bring it outside to the backyard. Maybe bring it to the front yard, to the driveway. Put it in the car. Bring it to the vet's office. Go on a field trip. So you're all going to be encouraged to go on a field trip this week to go somewhere so that you kind of know that how they might respond here. Pet stores, veterinary offices. I like vet offices. I call ahead, make sure there's no sick pets. But I like vet offices because then you make it a cookie visit at the vet office. Like, what did we do with Fiona this week here? We made cookie visits, right? Because then it's a fun place to be, lots of treats, and no stabbing in the back or up the butt. The dogs go, all right, 51 good visits and 1 really bad visit a year. But 51 good visits is maybe gambling that maybe this one's not so bad. So I literally go cookie visits and field trips to the vet office. My dog, and the video's up there too, my dog will jump on the exam table. She needs no technician to hold her. I will draw her blood myself. I can vaccinate her. I can do her teeth, her ears, whatever I want. And she loves it. I actually have a video of me drawing her blood. She jumps up on the table and I'm doing it myself. That to me is a fear-free vet visit. The dog just learns impulse control that, all right, you're going to stab me in the arm, but then it's going to be over and I get cookies, right? Yep. We'll work for food, we'll work for toys. Your dog hasn't jumped on me once since here, right? So then, what is the next thing that I typically teach? Like if you have a jumper or you have a barker, super easy homeworks. You're going to settle. Settle! Yes. Would. If you ever have taken a picture of a sunrise or a sunset, right? Take that picture. If he just lays himself down, to me that's settle. You could say relax, you could say chill. Why your very first homework is picking your vocabulary. But if he suddenly just lays down and goes, settle, yes, okay. Now what happened? He got back up going, is there more opportunity? But if he were suddenly to lay down again at home, I'd go settle, yes, and a treat rains from the sky. But he didn't jump up. So one of the next ones that I say, like for that 3 to 5 minute period, you're teaching their name, their eye contact, then you start all your other ones. So if he's just planted his butt on the ground and he's looking at me, very good, sit, yes, and then pay. Why am I saying sit when he's already in a sit?
It's the behavior you want.
Because then he is clear. This definition, there are no questions. Butt on ground, looking me in the eye is actually what sit means. Then there's no question later if you're starting to run somewhere if I say sit. Butt on ground, looking at you, means sit. But if I go sit, 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 he's like, well, I'm gonna do it. And then eventually does it. I've taught him to blow me off 7 times, and then I might still pay him for it. Instead, I might have him go somewhere else, but then I can bring him back over. So I don't like that corner. I'm not camera in that corner. Right? Lure. If you lure, you are kind of correct. It is a smaller piece. I don't know if I like that piece. It's kind of small. I like high value when I first start off. Oh, it's him. Oh, baby. There you go. So if the nose goes up, typically the butt would go down. And you see how I'm going to say you probably haven't lured him to a sit on the left or the right hand side yet, because he's unsure about it. So we can do perpendicular, that's fine. We can start with a slightly different picture, but I kind of then start to show him that just because it's there. Sit. Yes. He's like, oh,
Julie, how do you
okay.
keep teaching not to snap at the treat initially? Like,
Oh, good question, because we were going to go over gentle. Hang on 1 second. If I don't bring it up in about 30 seconds, then reiterate.
Okay.
But left hand side. There you go. You go by mom. There you go. He's like, you're just confusing me. There's all these sides. Here, I think. Good. Sit. Yes. Good job. And you just kind of see some hesitancy. I'm not worried, but that just shows me again, like, I want to show him as many pictures as I can to help him out. Because where are you now? You backed into a corner, right? Come forward. If mom backs away, what do you think dog wants to do if they're really dominant? Why is mom in a corner? Nobody puts mom in a corner.
On his eye, right?
Right? And that's what I want to show, that's also what I want to show pet parents, because that's what you ultimately are. You are showing your fur kids what to do. So if you notice he's hesitant, we can help him by stepping forward. And if he's like, oh, I really don't want to, then we don't force him, right? We never force him. But by you stepping forward, then he's less hesitant, right? We just want to show him it's not as big of a deal as he thinks. There you go. And this is easy. This is like just puppy stuff. This is normal. Some puppies are like over the top, and some puppies are just like, I need some help, right? I need my mom. He wants his mom.
He spends a lot of time with his mommy, that's for sure.
which is why, like, that anxiety. But no, he's working through it. So how do I have the dog take a treat more easily? Is a lot of times when you first start off, we complexly want to say gentle, but we know what it means. So unless he's taking it gentle, I wouldn't say gentle. Easy way to help them take it gentle is to hold it flat. Gentle, yes. As soon as he starts to take it appropriately in a flat hand, they have to use their incisors or their front teeth. Gentle, yes. So as soon as I feel just his lips, that's gentle, yes, and he gets the treat. So that I can just start teaching him how to take a treat appropriately. So if I'm flat handing it, so maybe it's under your thumb, which goes into the touch, which we'll talk about in a second. Gentle, yes. If he has to use his front teeth, he doesn't have to open his mouth. And his front teeth aren't the ones that are grabbing him. If you hold the treat like this, or like this, what is the picture that the dog sees? I have to be an alligator, because I have to get the whole hand. But if I hold it flat, what does the dog see? Gentle, yes. Right? So a 3 to 5 minute training session could literally be teaching him gentle in every room of your house, 40 to 50 times for a piece of kid. Super easy training session. But teach him how to take a treat. Totally fine. So it leads me into touch. So we got eye contact going. We started with the sit, right? But touch, pretty. After 18 years, oops, it happened. But I teach touch with a side hand, so not my gentle, right? But a side hand, my treat is under my thumb. As soon as I feel his nose, I go touch, yes. And I open that hand, I open that thumb. Touch, yes. Touch, yes. See a tail wag on that one? Touch, yes. It's like, oh, I'm getting this one. This one's easy. That one? Did you find it? Touch, yes. Why? I like a fast recall, so come in here are good recalls. But if I can teach a dog to come all the way over on a touch cue, that means they have no definition except put your nose to the palm of my hand, which gets them how close to me. Because then eventually I can do collar games and other things, right? So for instance, if I do this, come touch, yes. I will eventually teach them how to come and touch. So that it's get your nose to the palm of my hand, because then I can get your leash, or I can take your collar. Or if you slipped your collar, I can grab your scruff if I have to, if you have nothing else for me to grab, or I can pick you up, right? We don't necessarily want to do those things, but if an emergency, I don't want him shying away. What, knock on wood, it never happens, but I always say train for the emergency. I fell, I hit my head, I had a concussion. My dogs know sitting down when I'm laying flat on the ground. That helped when someone had to come in. So if I tell my dogs to plots, and I'm flat out, they're laying down going, are you sure? I'm sure. So I train for emergencies. An emergency could be what if somebody has to grab him. We don't want him biting. We don't want him shying away. We want him being like, oh, collar games or touch games. My hand comes out. It's gentle. All good hand games, right? And not that he's not seeing that already. He's just a puppy. We have to imprint him. But that's what I want him thinking. I want him thinking that hands reaching for him are awesome. And that's just where we start to use the food hand, right? Touch. Yes. So what about coming when called? How many of you want your dog to come when called? Big one in this class, I bet, right? That's usually the case. So do you like that piece? That pretty tasty? Okay, that's a good one. We'll use that. If I'm training by myself, then this is the game I start to play. I'll toss something out, and then when he's in motion to me, would he come? Yes. I'm not sure, but I'm getting more confident. You see, right? He's like, I'm starting to overcome this thing. Okay, it's not so bad. And that's building confidence. That's building trust, guys. Like seriously, I don't want him to not trust me. He doesn't know what to do yet. Okay. Oh, you missed it totally. There you go. You say, oh, I might have missed it. Would he come? Yes. Good job. So I toss a piece out. When do I call him? Would he come? Yes. I know, nothing comes. You're having a crummy day. Thank you for laughing. You're welcome. Alright, send him away. Say, what? Would he come? Yes! And you see my presentation kind of is the similar as a touch, but I don't always have to say touch if I'm not having his nose touch me. So when am I saying COME? When he's already in motion to me. That is why I do not call them when they're running the other direction, because you're praying that they come back. I want them knowing that this is actually what I mean when I say COME. And they don't know that yet. So we have to teach them. Ready? Go further. Oh. That was a Labrador move, kids. Good boy. Would he come? Yes. Because now, COME is a positive association with come towards somebody, and it means I get something because I heard that magical yes word. So if you're training with multiple people, potentially everybody has treats in their hand. We did it with Fiona, right? The ping pong puppy game. So I call it ping pong puppy, but it means that everybody has food, and instead of you calling them COME, be like, if you have food and I have food, then I just simply go over here, but I get him in motion to me. Come, yes. And now get him in motion to you without saying anything. So you can make a kissy noise, a whistling, and then tell him come.
Good.
And did anybody catch the sequence there?
Yes.
I'm not picking on you.
I know.
You have never done this
failing
before,
bad,
and everybody's going to mess it up. Right? Did I not tell you at the lesson too? Right? We had a puppy lesson with their new puppy. Same thing. If we don't know what we're saying or how we're saying it, give yourself a learning curve. You're going to say things in reverse too. But you said, yes, come. So I try to teach things in the 4 steps so that eventually we don't need food because we won't say yes. We'll just say COME. So if I'm teaching them motion and then COME, later on I don't have to say yes and peg. But if I teach them motion, YES, COME, I'm always going to be stuck with YES, and technically I'm always going to be stuck paying. Because my yes means you get a paycheck. So it's a learning curve. Nobody, like I said, sorry. Yeah, you're like this. No, it's totally fine. I started there too. Everybody in this room, whether they're going to admit it next week or not, is going to start there too. So give yourself that learning curve though, because that's where then everybody has food. Do you have another piece? Do you have another piece? Or,
Yep.
Perfect. We'll do it again, right?
All right.
Yes.
Got nothing.
And then, there's a crumb there. There might be a crumb there. Would you not like that? There you go.
Come. Yeah, oh, I have one on the floor. You
That's
dropped
okay.
one.
Yeah. So then it was right, but try. So now he's kind of over by me. There you go.
Yes.
Perfect. And you see how that starts to become then like everybody is spaced out in one room, but then they're spaced out across the house. Maybe some people are upstairs and downstairs. Now you've just played a 5 to 10 minute recall game, but there's 40 to 50 recalls. They're all fun. They're all fast. What I want in the future, right? In an emergency. But it's also going to make him think, wear him out, and it's a great day, great rainy day game. You know, you don't want to send the dog out in the mud. Have him do recalls around the house. Guess how fast they go. All right, seriously, I'm done. The stairs are too much. And your house, I really like their house because they have like kind of a tri-level technically, right? Because they have lots of stairs. And I'm like, this is perfect for a recall game. Can I move in with every puppy? So utilize the space you have, but start in one room where it's easy, short distances, really easy to go back and forth, but then it's harder. Now they got to go find the person. So every time after I say why yes, I might move. So like he came to you, but when he's in motion to me, then I'd have you move. And then when he's in motion to you, I move. So that he's, oh, where'd you go? And they don't just play the, oh, I'm going to go to you, I'm going to come back. I'm going to go to you, I'm going to come back. They have to come find me. So now they have to use their brain. Now they're eating, exercising, and thinking. The trifecta for a tired puppy. Or adult. Works in adults. How tired are you after an 8-hour day of work? Anybody have to work 12 to 14 hours? Girl, we've done 14 to 16 in ER. So, and after a 2-hour day of work, easier. But if you're working them mentally, physically, basically feeding them, you're kind of doing a 6 to 8 hour work day for them. In a very short period of time, you'll have a more tired dog. That means that they're learning, they're tired, they're not going to get into trouble, because every moment they're awake, they're doing something, they're learning something. So if you can make them sleep more, you don't have to watch them as much. See how that works? I have dogs that go to their bed and sleep very quickly, because they have to do brain surgery. Like, oh, right? So touch games, eye contact. How tired are you going to be after this orientation? Like some of you are like, oh, please stop. It's okay, no problem. But eye contact, sit, touch, come when called. The collar game and down are some of the other ones, and then quiet and off are the other two. So quiet and off are super easy ones. They look very similar to even eye contact and sit. How does your dog learn them is just through by repetitions. After so many repetitions and the different behavior that we give them, they learn which one's which. Like this becomes SIT, right? Because we're saying it, we're doing it, and then this becomes just sit. But off and quiet, I encourage for quiet, you don't do it when they're barking. If you've been paying attention, I do 4 steps. So like right now, I'd go quiet, yes, and then I'd pay. But he's not barking. Exactly. That's my definition of quiet. Or shh, whichever you're going to use. Again, why you pick your vocabulary. But then I move to a new spot, and I do the same thing. Quiet, yes. And then I pay. And then I move to another new spot. See how willing he is to come by me now? Quiet, yes. And that's how we build trust and confidence. Seriously, like that's totally how we start doing it. So we took the treat a little rough because I handled it like this, and then we go back to flat handling it. Gentle, yes. Easier, right?
Are they going to be confused if you're using quiet, sit, touch? If you're giving treats at all these times?
So it's the
they
4
really
steps. The 4 steps are actually what you're teaching the definition. In the beginning, like everything does kind of look the same, but then when you start to utilize it when you need it, you're not going to be saying sit for barking, right? You're going to be like, quiet, yes. Everybody through that? There you go. So yeah, it looks similar in the beginning, but your repetitions are what differentiates the definitions. So 3,000 repetitions of quiet, yes, versus SIT, versus OFF, you're going to be building that through repetitions because your behavior is changing slightly. So if they're jumping, you're not going to say quiet. You're going to be OFF, right? So they're going to learn that. Nice job, you spelled. Yes. Flute. He's like, no, I really smell.
He's a smart
Or
dog. He's a smart dog.
I'm sorry. Spell. It's my brain works faster and the stutter not helping.
So to teach off, you would begin teaching it when he's not jumping. Yeah.
Yep. And I like to use again, my behavior dictates there, so I like to use some sort of physical cue when I also say a verbal cue. So even here, 4 on the floor, I might go, Woody, off? Yes. And pay. So whether it's doing your hands flat or crossing your arms is another one I tell people to do, because then if it's Woody, off? Yes. And if he defaults to sit, I'm okay with that. He's like, okay, sure, whatever you want. But I start to move to new spots. So if I'm moving over here, and then he doesn't jump up, it becomes again, off? Yes. And if he defaults to SIT, I'm okay with that. When your butt's on the ground, you can't do anything else. Off? Yes. So how does he start to see this picture is that if someone's walking in, a guest is walking in, and I have a 70-pound Labrador, eventually, he's going to be big if he's only 5 months, then I can actually just say, put your hands out like this and he won't jump up. Because then they walk in and they go, oh my god, he's so cute! Ah, yes. Dropping crumbs. Or if he's barking at the window later on, I should be able to just, hey, hi, doggy Rolodex. Sorry, forgot, not supposed to bark. But how do I teach it? I teach it by get the definition, quiet, yes, pay the dog, move to a new spot. Which is why I say, like, your food has how many repetitions in it. So you could take 3 minutes of eye contact, give him a 3-minute break. 3 minutes of touch, give him a 3-minute break. 3 minutes of off, give him a 3-minute break. You can do in 20 to 25 minutes, tons of repetitions, and now when you go to leave for work, he's like, I've had my 8-hour day, I need a rest. Or if you're home, you get some work done.
That's tough.
Right? Mm-hmm. But if you wear him out, and then he goes to his bed, and then you start teaching him to settle, and he gets treats raining from the sky, wow, that's a job too. So if I run to my bed and lay down and I get paid, wouldn't you love to just go to your bed and lay there and get paid? We can do that for our dogs. I have yet to find the person that I can do that with. But, maybe, holding on hope. But that's what I want to teach him, is that if he's good, all these good decisions are getting paid, they're jobs. And then when he's wrong, if he's jumping, I'm turning, right? Or I'm going, no eye contact, no physical. So if he were to be jumping on me, it's no eye contact, no physical. When he gets back down, I go back to looking. Settle, yes.
So
When in doubt,
if you ask them to go, if you say go to the bed, and then they go to the bed, you walk over and give the treat.
So do you think your dog knows go to your bed?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you think the dog already knows go to your bed? Because if I say go to your bed, then I better make sure my dog already knows go to your bed. So how I teach go to your bed, which we're learning in class, is luring them over on the bed first,
Okay,
luring them into a down, pulling the lure away, and then I go to your bed, yes, and pay.
okay.
So if I say go to your bed, eventually I'll have started down here and taught it, and then yes, I would be able to just have guests come in and I go to your bed, and they go lay down.
And then do you give them a treat though, when they go to bed?
Initially, yep,
Okay.
and as time goes on, I don't use as much reinforcement. Since you're a parent, right? So do you have to remind your son to brush his teeth every night? How many years have you been doing that?
Probably more than once. So let's see, he's 10, so...
So we find, so the 4 steps apply to humans too. Okay? You find the motivator, you find the reinforcement, but then he brushes his teeth. Go brush your teeth, yes, and you get time on your DS, so you get more time on this, so you get a story time, or you get something else. What do you like to work for? You play games? Sometimes. Do you read? Do you like to read instead, or? Okay, well there's the honest answer, there's the mom answer. Yeah. But fine.
It's okay to say you like to read. It's a good book.
I read multiple books at one time. I never finish just one, like I'm always in like 4 or 5. I love to read. So, yeah. But find the motivator. You brush your teeth, you get more of it. You don't brush your teeth, you don't get any of it. Nothing bad, nothing good. And yes, you can still remind him, but then he just doesn't earn anything. It's literally the same learning game. We learn the same way the dogs do. If you didn't get paid, you wouldn't still work there. But either you get paid enough to tolerate things, or you get paid enough because you're passionate about it and it pays the bills. I happen to be in the latter. I love what I do, but I still have bills to pay. That's why I do it. Settle. Yes. It worked. And if I say yes and he gets up, he's not wrong. Because I said yes, it ends the exercise. He can come over to me and get his treat if he wants. But usually 3 repetitions, they'll just start laying there going, it's going to rain on me, right? It will. So you kind of see how this starts to work, right? Now, for down, you can either capture him just laying down, and then down, yes, okay. Or you can lure him. Have you ever lured him into a down food? Okay, you can try it. But does that kind of make sense with the off and the quiet? Quite literally, 3 minutes of off in every room of the house. It's just off, yes, pay, move, off, yes, pay, move, off, yes, pay, move on the left, on the right, and the front. Quiet, same thing. Quiet, yes, pay in the front, on the left, on the right. Quiet, I actually take to doorways, like, so I will go and literally face a door.